welcome to Film Caffeine. We're all film bros, and we don't watch anything that's a superhero movie here on Film Caffeine. Today I'm here with another guest, um, or actually the same guest as before, the lovely Luis from iwant2believe. How are
Hello
you doing,
guys.
Luis?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
How's life going? How's the channel going?
It's it's going. It's going. It's not where I want it to be, but I'm glad it's where it's at right now. If
That's
that makes
good.
sense. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I I my whole thing now is new year, new me, same channel, same bullshit. So,
Yeah.
um
Although I'm glad to be back on the show.
yeah, thanks for joining us. Today, we as I said, we don't watch superhero films on here. Never. Superhero films suck. Um we only watch Cape Kino but without the cape. And that means the Oscars. The Oscars are when are the Oscars this year? February something?
February the 9th. Yeah.
9th. Yeah.
the 9th.
On good old ABC, Disney. But surprisingly, not a lot of Disney films nominated, which I find
Yeah.
hilarious. But yeah, it's Oscar season. Time to talk Oscars. Scribe isn't with me because he hates film. Um, no. But yeah, no. I thought it would just be fun today to just go through the entire list of nominations and just talk about the movies on here because I know you're also like a maybe not necessarily the Oscars, but like I know you watch like a lot of these type of films, right?
Yeah. I watch. I try to make it out to the movies to watch these types of films.
It's actually like this is like I watched a lot of like Oscars films a couple years ago with like La La Land and like Whiplash and stuff like that when those were coming out. Um but I mean this is the first year like I've been like as invested as I've been in the Oscars.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
Rec-
fun to see this, but like just go ahead, go ahead.
no, I just recently I've been trying to keep up more with new release movies. So I've been trying to go to the movie theaters more often. So that's how I
Yeah.
managed to see some of them. Because
It's
beforehand, like,
surprising. Yeah. And it's surprising, like, at least to me, just like I've seen like a lot of these movies that have come out have been like they come out with like a very small release. And just
yeah,
over the time period of like 3 weeks or so, they just become like talked by like everyone that I know. Like everyone is like going to go see 1917 now, and I'm sort of jealous.
like I know Uncut Gems. That one people were talking about it for a while, and that didn't come to my theater until like December, I think. So by
Yeah, which
that
is
time,
strange. Uncut Gems and 1917, I think, are the two films that like it came out and no one went to see it, and then like a week later or 2 weeks later, everyone is going to go see it. It's really
yeah,
surprising. But yeah, I think we should go ahead, skip the bullshit, and get
right,
straight into the nominations. Starting from the bottom, I'm not going to share my screen, but I'll link the link in the description. This is just like the list of all the Oscars, and from the bottom, it's starting off with original screenplay. For writing, number one nomination, Knives Out. If you've seen the channel recently, me and Scribe did like a 1 hour sort of review on Knives Out. Our thoughts are there. But also, what did you think of the film?
I haven't actually seen Knives Out, so
Oh shit!
yeah, I
You
haven't
got to
seen
see
it
Knives
yet.
Out, man. This film is absolutely. I mean, I think the best way to describe it is it's both a blockbuster film, but at the same time, it can be like compared to things like Marriage Story in 1917, and
Yeah.
like it can be still treated like an Oscar-y film, but also a blockbuster film at the same time. And I think that's the reason why both me and Scribe sort of like just loved it so much. Um,
Oh, it's got
Holy
to
shit,
grow
this movie is
from
awesome.
13 Reasons Why.
Oh yeah, yeah. Catherine
Okay,
Langford.
Catherine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was here for the film just for Ana de Armas, like the entire time. Ana de Armas, she was in Blade Runner. She was in
Yeah.
that one Todd Phillips War Dogs film and
I
shit
really.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome in this movie. I know she was in the running for Catwoman, and I love Zoe Kravitz, but god damn it, that would have been so awesome to see Ana de Armas as Catwoman. But yeah, Knives Out original screenplay, at least for me, I would say I can see it happening. Um, just because the pacing in the film was so amazing, and a lot of that is attributed to the writing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I would be thrilled to see it win original screenplay. But
Yeah.
the next movie on the list, Marriage Story. I don't want to go full on freak out Marriage Story. You've seen Marriage Story, right?
Yeah, I've seen Marriage Story.
Okay, yeah. It's like almost that's I mean that's why I think Scribe just ran away from this podcast is cuz he hasn't seen Marriage Story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kick his ass sometime for that specific reason. Holy shit, Marriage Story. I don't want to go into everything about Marriage Story, but I will just say the writing Noah Baumbach wrote and directed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I know like at least just from the stories behind the writing, I don't know if you watched any interviews, but they kept talking about how Noah selected Scarlett and Driver for both of, like for the opposite roles and then like wrote the script around them. So that's why a lot of their
Oh,
like
wow.
dialogue
Yeah.
seems so natural. Um so I can see it as well. I think although I love the writing, I don't think that's the sole reason why I would get it to win an Oscar. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Marriage Story's writing?
I I think that I really enjoy the first half, and I think that this is one of like Noah Baumbach's more mature films. Because after watching this one, I went back and started watching all of his other movies, and like it's really interesting the types of movies he made back when he was like fresh out of college, and watching this one right now, and sort of how he's refined like his script making. As for original screenplay, with Knives Out and Once Upon a Time, I'm not sure if it would win, but I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Um,
I can
yeah,
see it winning just
I
because it's so character associated, but I
yeah,
still feel like something like either yeah, Once Upon a Time is definitely switching over to that. That's definitely one of those things where it's like
because
who wrote it? It was right Tarantino too. Yeah.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
was like
Tarantino.
that's I can see that also winning just cuz it's such a not cuz it's a Hollywood jerk off, but because it's very like in that maybe sort of cuz it is.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
100% sure, but I see it winning.
remember, did Roma win Best Picture or was it screenplay?
I think it was screenplay.
Play okay, because I feel like if Roma won, since it was a Netflix movie, I feel like Marriage Story would be a good contestant this year.
1917. I don't know anything about the writing for 1917. I feel like it's more like I mean, because Scribe has told me all about like why he loves this movie, but a
Yeah,
lot of it is centered around cinematography, and no one's really talking too much about writing, so I don't see it
yeah,
going anywhere. And for Parasite, God damn it, Parasite. Wow, it's such a good movie. I remember watching it and
yeah. It
it was
was good.
great with all the Asian people and like okay, we haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
I need to watch Parasite. I'm like I've been putting that one off more than all the like I need to watch a lot of these movies, but Parasite is the one that I've just been putting off the most because everyone on Twitter is like just praising this movie so much and I'm like the only person who just likes all of their tweets and then just does nothing with it. So,
I feel like, yeah, Parasite. I was gonna see it, but the only movie theater showing it near me was like an hour away. So I was like, that's gonna be that's a commitment that
it's
I'm
yeah,
not
the
sure.
hassle.
Yeah, that's a hassle. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a movie theater near me that leading up to the Oscars, they're gonna show like um selected movies, and I think they're gonna show Parasite, so I might try to see it during that time.
I'm gonna hopefully trying to see both 1917 and Parasite because those are the two big ones I've neglected on. I
Yeah,
want to watch The Irishman, but at the same time, I'm so lazy that I feel like I'm probably not going to watch The Irishman.
I haven't
Um,
seen The Irishman yet.
no, I've seen clips from it,
Yeah,
but I have not watched it as a whole. And I feel I'm just like I'm putting that off honestly, sort of a little more than Parasite, but like the task of watching this 3-hour movie
Oh
or
yeah.
so, 3.5 hour movie is just like I know I'm not supposed to say that because I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch The Irishman and it's gonna be awesome and I'm gonna come out of it and be a changed man. But I don't know why. I just don't want to watch The Irishman. I have no idea why.
I know. I don't know if you saw that picture on Twitter where
Yeah,
someone broke
yeah.
down
The
the thing.
breakdown picture.
Yeah, supposedly I was gonna watch it like in chunks, but then I started watching and I just like kept on watching it. And it was
You just finished it.
yeah, I just finished it in one sitting.
I think yeah, I think those are my three then. It's probably 1917, Parasite, and Irishman are like the three ones that I probably have to watch at some point before the Oscars.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I think I agree with you. I see either Knives Out winning original screenplay or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Um I could also see Parasite winning just cuz I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of like tweets about how like the script was so well adapted and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm thinking about it, I'm not
Oh,
sure if Once Upon a Time has a strong story.
yeah, no,
At least
that's I want
overall.
I'm gonna go on a little rant for Once Upon a Time in a while, like
Uh,
once we get to some of the big picture nominations. But
Right.
yeah, I have some strong sort of thoughts on Once Upon a Time. Um, but yes, next nomination is for adapted screenplay. Um, I know everyone has been loving Little Women.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm in that same camp. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I came out
yeah,
from Little Women with a
I
big
that's
smile on my
another one I
face.
need to watch. That's another one I haven't
Oh
fucking
wow.
watched. Yeah, I haven't watched any. You can tell I haven't watched any movies. I've just been reacting to Twitter and then also specific movies that I really like.
From the
So,
ones that I watched, I recommend that you watch Little Women from the ones that you've been missing out.
okay, so
Like
the,
if
yeah,
there's a
I'll
priority one, Little Women.
Little Women. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
put that on the list. I know everyone's been praising Saoirse Ronan's performance in that,
She
especially.
was great.
Yeah, and I
It's
think
also I
she
forgot
was she snubbed from any of the nominations for that, or
I think she was, to be honest. Let me yeah.
looking at actress in a supporting role. I mean, Florence Pugh was on there. Everyone was excited about that, but
Yeah, she was really good
yeah.
as well. Like her and
No, no,
Timothy.
she's nominated. Actress in a leading role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. So her and Lawrence and Timothy, I don't know his last name, but they were
I
really
don't think Timothy is in there.
okay. No, but them three were really good in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been also cuz I remember reading the book like a long time ago.
Yeah,
And the thing is I didn't even my sister is like 6 years younger than me and she read like a smaller version of the book and she's literally the only reason I read the book.
yeah.
So, and I thought it was a fine book. I didn't think amazing things of it. I don't I thought it was somewhat forgettable. So, and by forgettable I mean I really don't even remember a lot that happens in the book. Um
But the director really went um Greta Gerwig really went out of her way to
yeah,
sort of like adapt the story in a way that's accessible to like modern audiences. Like
yeah,
especially since the book is so um I guess old.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer and I thought that was spectacular too. So, yeah, I'll see that at some point. Um I will say Joker should not be nominated for adapted
Yeah,
screenplay.
I don't know what
I
it's
don't
doing there.
I want to rant about Joker as well, but at least just for this category, I don't understand why it's nominated. It's not. What are you adapting here? Like
Yeah. It'd be
it's
like
an original
putting
movie. Are you
yeah.
adapting Taxi Driver? Yeah,
Yeah. It's like
but yeah,
it would be like
I don't
putting
know if that
Far
should.
From Home in this category. It's like what are you actually adapting though?
Yeah, It's like, and I mean, I think that's the same thing that happened for Logan, right? And at least for Logan, it makes a little bit of sense
Yeah.
because it's like, it's sort of
Even
old
though
man
it's like,
Logan.
yeah, Old Man Logan. But the
Like,
Joker,
what are you?
yeah.
What are you adapting here? You're adapting Taxi Driver and a little bit of King of Comedy. Is that what you're? That's not a written screenplay. That's a visual screenplay that you're just copy and pasting slightly here and there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's on there. Jojo Rabbit. Also, it's like
Is that based
I
off of?
yeah, it's based
I,
off a book named Jojo
oh,
Rabbit,
okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense, but that's not why. Like that's the reason. It's because like Little Women was like a book named Little Women, and then Greta Gerwig adapted the book, right? It's I guess since the movies are like these movies are seen not really as adaptations, they're seen as their own thing. They're just like, okay, but we have to like technically put it in this category, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm on the Karsten Runquist gang. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Karsten?
Karsten.
Karsten? Yeah, I'm on his gang for like I don't know what the fuck happens in the Two Popes.
Okay. It's
Did you
just
see
two
that
Pope.
video?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw. Was it?
It's two popes and they do shit in the movie.
Yeah, they just talk. I
Yeah.
liked it. Yeah, especially because
Director of
like,
that movie did something too. I don't know what he did, but oh yeah, he directed the Brazil Olympics. That's what he did.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he directed like the opening show of like the Brazil Olympics.
Okay.
Oh, I guess that's cool, but what the fuck is the two popes? Visual
No,
effects. Oh, okay. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I liked it. I don't know. I like those kind of like talky movies, and it was like that in a way. But yeah, there really wasn't much to it. But I enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Visual
visual effect.
effects. Okay. Hot take. Okay.
Okay,
I fucking hated The Lion King, right? I started
haven't.
watching that movie and I didn't
Yeah,
finish that movie because I was just infuriated by that movie. However, I do believe I think it should win visual effects.
really. I think that a
Yeah,
lot of
just
people are
because
saying that like the way that the animals looked were really like unnerving to them. But I don't know if it was because they looked too real or if they were like,
because how I see it is the Lion King is like the charm of the Lion King, yes, is the actual the cartoony animals and like the songs and the dancing of Simba and the expressions on his face, which is very clearly not captured um
yeah,
by the Lion King. And if you look at like the Uncanny Valley, like this is on the realism side, right? But the reason
okay,
like it's not like in that place where it's like realistic but unrealistic. It's not in that valley. It's it is on the realistic side. It's just hard to see those characters act in that way, right? But then
yeah,
I see like the visual effects like being separate than the actual movie. So like I don't know exactly how the story goes, but supposedly Disney hired this VFX group and then John Favreau worked with them to create like the visual effects for this movie. And then like they actually like sort of almost shut down a couple months ago or something because it was
yeah.
like
From what I
they
heard,
weren't financed properly and they were sort of underpaid. Um and the fact that
that's
they
yeah,
did still work to that level to create like because when you watch the movie, it very clearly looks like a lion. And it is like an actual lion. And like there are the birds look like birds. And like they are it's like the Jungle Book thing, but even more because it looks honestly a little bit better than that. So at least just for
so
the VFX, I don't maybe it shouldn't win, but it definitely deserves that position and maybe
yeah.
it should win in my opinion.
Wait, did that VX company shut down or? Because I heard
Yeah, I
that.
think so.
Oh wow.
Let me King FX. FX they broke down. That's the second result. No, that's the VFX breakdown. Never mind. um Studio. Lion King VFX is closed. This is like a just a top article. Um, let's see. It's a VFX shop named MPC, and they were forced to shut down. Um, closing doors. Uh, there's a lot of late hours, borders on
Ye-
abuse and dangerous behavior. I'm not. Don't endorse me for these things I'm saying, even though we get like 5 views a podcast. But yeah, it does
Yeah.
seem like it wasn't the best thing. It was like they weren't they weren't giving them overtime rates and stuff where they were clearly working overtime.
Yeah.
So
Oh, like
so
yeah,
I
they're
guess
being
they worked their
overworked.
ass off for this movie, and they should be rewarded at least in
Yeah,
some way for it. Yeah,
I
that's my
agree with
take on The
that.
Lion King.
Mhm.
What else is on this list? Endgame is on this list, and
Um,
yeah,
I don't know about
but
that.
it's either got to be Lion King or maybe 1917. 1917, it's like it was practical effects, right? So it's like
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like 1917 or The Lion King can win this category.
I would
That
say
the
Rise
eight.
of Skywalker, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like Endgame and Rise of Skywalker are like the same level of VFX, just like it's just the same. So
yeah.
I don't see where you can compete there. It's really just the two things that stand out are 1917 and Lion King.
And The Irishman, I don't even know what it's doing here.
It
That
did,
the
and
aging.
I'll say like I saw clips of Robert De Niro looking young, and
Yeah,
he looks young, but for some reason it just looks off to me.
yeah,
I don't know why. It just looks a little off. So I don't maybe it's not the VFX fault. Maybe it's just because I've seen what young
yeah.
De Niro looks like, and it's not exactly the same. But
And he
yeah,
like moves like an old man. I don't know if you've seen the clip where he's like beating up the butcher, and there's this
I've
one
not seen that
kick.
clip.
Okay, where like he looks like an old man. Where like he's supposed to be like in his 30s or something or 40s, but like the way he
He
moves.
still like is beating him up like an old man. That's
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah. Well, VFX is VFX. I'm rooting for at least just the VFX company to get the recognition they deserve. But yeah.
um, I
Anyway,
hadn't.
on to the
I
next one,
didn't.
sound
Yeah,
mixing. Oh yeah, what were you gonna say about VFX?
I was just gonna say that the Lion King. Like I hadn't heard that story, but hearing it now, I feel like they deserve to win
Yeah.
for all the effort they
And I mean,
put
I know
into
the
it.
Oscars definitely don't work like that, like where someone deserves to win and they
Yeah,
do, but like still, it's like, come on, guys.
yeah.
Sound mixing. Again, why is Joker on this list? Wh-
Oh,
Where was the sound mixing? Even like I don't understand. You've got
I don't-
Ford versus Ferrari supposedly had amazing sound mixing,
yeah,
and I guess 1917 too, because like you have to work with the practical effects, and I'm sure Ad Astra was great according to everything that High Top Films keeps saying. And then
I'd
Once Upon a
actually,
Time was like a fucking oldie film. Why is Joker on this list?
I don't know. Man. We live in a society.
Yeah, we do. What the fuck? Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna go on my Joker rant now because I have to.
Okay,
Joker should not have been nominated fucking 11 times. God damn it. What the fuck?
didn't relate
You.
to it.
I mean, it's me and Scribe were talking about this earlier. Joker. I rewatched Joker a couple weeks
Okay,
ago, and it's not. It doesn't hold up the second time as much as a
yeah,
lot of other films. Like it's you can love Joaquin Phoenix's performance, and you can love some of the theatricality of like his performance and in like the way that shots are established with him as a character. But then like the story is like I think the direction is probably the weakest thing about this movie. Todd Phillips, I don't know if he deserves that director's nomination because like the thing really holding this movie together is definitely Joaquin Phoenix performance. So
Even the story I felt like was kind of weak. I felt like a film student wrote this, like if there was like someone had charged a film student to write a movie about the Joker. I think that's what they would have come up
they
with.
just like are like, yeah, because they're. I mean, people. There's an argument to be made about the whole Taxi Driver King of Comedy ripoff,
Yeah,
and it's like because it's even like because I watched a lot of
because even then I
excuse
feel
me.
like yeah, no, I feel like the
Yeah,
taxi driver did what the Joker was trying to do in a much better way.
yeah, like what exactly? Because like there's the argument that oh, Todd Phillips would try to make a normal movie about a guy descending into madness, but then to get tickets, he called it the Joker. But then if
Yeah,
you look at the actual story, if you take away the Joker, then it's still just something like Taxi Driver or um King of Comedy. Like even like before the film was announced, or like before like it not announced, before the film was like showed its first trailer. I watched a lot of Emergency Awesome, and even he was saying like, "Oh yeah, from what it looks like, it's gonna be something like the King of Comedy." And then when you
yeah.
watch the film, it's like, well, it's very heavily inspired off of the King of Comedy, and then even more so Taxi Driver. So it's like, what exactly were you trying to tell Todd Phillips?
Yeah.
Like
And even then,
what exactly what were you trying to tell with this movie? And even he doesn't seem to know because in every interview he's like, I'm not trying to talk about violence. That's fucking stupid. It's like, okay, but then what are you trying to tell with this movie?
it was like I don't know, because that's a hard thing. Like I feel like the movie was trying to go for different things, and it sort of does it. And I felt like it settled for violence at the end. So it's
It
weird
had a
watching Todd Phillips saying that
yeah.
saying
And
that.
it's such a because I was like, okay, Todd Phillips can't be that bad of a director. And so I watched War Dogs the other day. The Jonah Hill, Miles Teller film about
Yeah,
these guys profit. Have you watched War Dogs?
I've watched where the profiteering off of military
Yeah,
contracts.
yeah. And it's a good movie. It's a fun movie, but it's also like it reminded me of The Big Short a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
and then the Wolf
Um
of Wall Street as well.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, and it's a good movie. And it's like but like it's also like I think that's maybe where he's strongest is in telling a past tale. Like I
And
don't
you,
maybe his
yeah,
original concepts per se are not the strongest, which is why I think maybe Joker was a success for him is cuz it wasn't really an original concept. It was him adapting something.
yeah,
So, I guess that makes sense why Joker was adapted screenplay. But yeah. Yeah. Sound mixing Joker I feel like Ford Ferrari might win.
yeah. I feel like
It's either
yeah.
that or Ad Astra. Um
You seen Ad Astra?
I have not. I need to see
Okay.
again. I have watched barely any films on this list, other than I've read a lot of Letterbox reviews for Ad Astra, um,
I feel like
and they
the
seem
Ad
to
Astra.
be pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it because it's like what's it called, boring. But I feel like it's more of a quiet journey, and it made me realize
No,
how now space movies are sort of becoming like the westerns.
where like they're starting to become like that one genre that could be adapted into something else.
Yeah, like I feel like yeah, because if you watch a lot of space movies, it's kind of like that one guy going on a journey, and he usually ends up alone, where they're like going to a place where there's like no law or society. If that makes sense, like how I'm trying to compare
Yeah,
like westerns and space movies.
that does make sense. I think.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I haven't heard anything about the performances in that movie because you got like Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones, but no one really talks about their performance a lot. I wonder
Honestly,
why.
Brad, because Tommy Lee Jones, without spoiling anything, he just comes out in like the last 15 or 25 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes. He plays a big role, but like his performance isn't that long. And
Yeah,
Brad Pitt, I feel like, yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna check it out because it's not on a lot of these nominations, but it seems
I
cool, I guess.
It's in my top 10 of 2019. I feel like it's a movie worth checking out.
Oh, that's sound mixing, sound editing. Again, why is Joker on this list? But what were all the like actual like not the original soundtrack, the actual like just the music on the soundtrack? What was in Joker other than that one rock and roll song?
Um,
'Cause I don't
I
remember
don't
any like
yeah.
any like
I don't
soundtracks
I don't
other than
remember
that rock and roll
anything.
song.
Yeah.
It's
Like
like what's the one lady who did the actual like the Hill what's her name? Hildur Guðnadóttir. I can't pronounce her name. But the original score was like actually like it was a great original score because it fit the movie perfectly.
yeah.
But as far as actual like just random songs, I can't really think of anything. I feel like Once
I
Upon
can't
a Time might win this.
I feel like it might, because there's a lot of like music from that era.
Yeah. What could Rise of Skywalker win this? Because people were saying, well, this isn't John Williams, I guess. The John Williams nomination is later, but like as far as like old themes and nostalgia,
I feel like it has a shot.
this is really what makes those like in Indian terms, I guess, those masala movies, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the best masala movie is the one that wins this type of thing. So I've heard good things about Ford versus Ferrari, but I think those are more in sound mixing than
Yes.
editing. Yeah.
I think 1917 might have a shot.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if Joker wins both these categories.
It'd be funny if
I'd
it
love
went
it.
like all 11 of them.
I would be upset if Joker wins 10 of these nominations, but then once they receive all 11 nominations and they win all 11 categories, I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and then just scream we live in a society.
You're gonna you're gonna go out in clown makeup, terrorize your town.
Yeah. Yeah, here's what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
okay? I'm not blue balling myself here. I'm being for real now. If Joker wins at least 5 of the 11 nominations it got, I will sit in my room and tape an audio record or maybe even a video recording of me just saying we live in a society for like 30 minutes straight.
Sounds like a deal.
Yeah. That's my if it wins at least 5. If
Yeah.
it wins like every additional one it receives, I'll up the 30 minutes to like an hour. So if it's 6, it's an hour's worth. If it's 7, it's an hour and a half's worth, right?
Oh, yeah. So the more it
And
wins,
if
the
it
more
receives
you'll.
all 11, it's going to be like fucking like 5 hours or some shit. Yeah. That's sound editing and that's Joker. Short film, live action. I haven't watched any of these.
Yeah.
I
My movie
should,
theater.
but I don't.
Yeah, I think my movie theater is gonna have like one night where they're gonna show these. So I was planning on watching them that way, just to be a little
I might
more
if
involved.
if they're all online somewhere, I might like binge it. I
Yeah.
remember there was like one YouTuber guy who did like like a short like little horror style thing that like got on the Oscar shortlist. Um, but then I guess he wasn't nominated. But it was like an actual just like plain YouTuber guy who got his film nominated, which was pretty cool.
Top.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
oh yeah, I don't know what happened with the audio there.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing much to say about that or animated. I know Hair Love was pretty good. I watched Hair Love. Um,
I
it
haven't
wasn't
seen.
bad.
Okay.
It didn't like it wasn't amazing. It was pretty good. I remember the one short film animated short that like I was super excited that it won was Paperman by Disney.
Yeah,
Have you seen Paperman?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
It's like probably my favorite short film of all time. It's just
Yeah.
like beautifully animated, and I just love it. Just honestly, even just for that fact. So
Superman, right?
yeah, Paperman.
Superman.
It's pretty good. But
To
yeah,
check it out.
nothing much to say here.
Yeah.
A lot of like short stop, like what's it? Stop motion. Lots of it
Motion.
looks like stop motion. Other than that, what else is in here? Production design. Okay, production design. 1917 is gonna win this. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say? Yeah. Like I
Yeah, that's
think
hard to say.
like once it's either gonna be that or Once Upon a Time.
I think Irishman.
Maybe
I don't
Jojo
know.
Rabbit.
Oh,
What?
maybe. Yeah. I'm not. Oh, you haven't seen The Irishman, right? I don't know.
No.
That
Is
might be.
that good? Like, is there a lot of I saw a lot of swivel shots and shit in that, so I didn't
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure if it might win production design. I feel it's gonna be on the lower.
know.
Be a low pick. Yeah.
1917 is on there.
1917.
Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time is a close second. Not even a close second. It's just a second because it's a second.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say 1917 is probably going to win that. Music. Um, I mean, Into the Unknown was a good song, and I could see it winning just because Disney and
Yeah.
people were singing that, but it wasn't as like popular as like Let It Go, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see that one Rocket Man song winning,
I can see
but
that
again,
too.
Rocket Man wasn't popular enough, I guess. But who cares about popularity when you're the Oscars? Yeah.
It's hard
Have
because
you
I feel
watched
like none of
Harriet?
them.
What was
No,
that?
I haven't. I haven't seen Harriet, but I feel like I'm not sure because none of these songs really stood out this year. Because I feel like in
Yeah.
other years there's been one song that people have just been talking about throughout the entire year. But with all of
It's like
these,
I
they're
didn't
just
even
like,
know that. Yeah, and I didn't even know that Toy Story 4 had a song that
yeah,
could be nominated. I didn't. I remember I watched that movie twice, and I still can't remember where that song happened. So, if
I
anything,
feel like
honestly, Into the Unknown might be the one that's like the most popular, just in this.
yeah,
So,
and like
going
yeah,
off of that, I could see it winning.
I think that's the only category Frozen's nominated in.
Oh yeah, they got snubbed from the big boy one, which is
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. But um, music original score. Here's the thing. I want to go back to Marriage Story for a second because
Okay.
I watched the Schaeferless Productions review of Marriage Story, and he stresses how he hated the score for this movie. Like it was too loud and like too obnoxious at times. And while I do agree with that sentiment, it honestly, I maybe that's the reason why I do like it in some aspects.
Well,
Um,
it's the guy who scored the first Toy Story,
yeah.
right?
Which is it makes sense.
Yeah,
Like when you listen to that score, you go, "Oh yeah, that definitely feels like Randy Newman."
yeah. And I think
I
it
will
was
say the
really like,
worst it
oh, you
go
can.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say that it's really like I don't know if you can consider it ironic since like it's such you associate it with this like childhood thing, and now it's being like those same like music is being used for like a breakup, like a
Yeah.
divorce movie.
It feels like sometimes the Joker original score should be put on Marriage Story because
Yeah.
like that's what it makes sense for. But like there are times where that score like really complements the story, and then there are
Mm.
times like in the argument scene, like right as like he hugs her legs, right?
Yeah.
Randy Newman kicks in with like an upbeat little like a little tune, and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're trying to do here, but is that the right? Is that the? But I don't know. How's the Little Women score?
Trying to I'm trying to remember. It's not as memorable as Marriage Story because I remember the score for Marriage Story, but not as much as I do for Little Women. But I feel like out of all of these, from the ones I've seen, at least I haven't seen 1917. I feel like Little Women, the score at least, it's better than Joker's and
I I can maybe see that because the Joker score is awesome, but like it's specifically for the movie, right? Like it doesn't
yeah.
stand on its own at all.
I feel
So
like yeah, Little Women stands on its own. I was listening. I know some people listen to it, like play it on Spotify while they're doing other things,
no.
and like yeah, I've seen on Twitter. I haven't seen people just putting the Joker soundtrack just because.
Yeah. Because I even tried to do that once. I was like, everyone's talking about the score. Let me at least just like listen to it for a quick second. And I was
Yeah,
like, I can't bop to this as much as I can bop to some other scores.
I
Yeah.
I have to listen to the soundtrack again for Little Women.
Is it safe to say that John Williams like sort of maybe not phoned it in, but wasn't at his best for Rise of Skywalker? Because I enjoy
I,
moments of that film, but like I don't know how much of it was for the score.
yeah, I feel like he was better in the Last Jedi, like the
Yeah,
score.
like the
compared
use
to the
of the
song.
actual like the Force theme in the Last
Yeah,
Jedi is like one of the best things ever. Um, just the way that it kicks in at like certain moments.
yeah. I
There
feel
was
like
nothing really like that in this movie.
no, I feel everything about Rise of Skywalker felt shoot in. I don't know if you've heard about the rumors about Palpatine being like a really last minute addition to the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember seeing like have you looked at the concept book? Like there is
Yeah, I've been
no Palpatine in the concept book at all. And
supposedly
it's just so
Jenny
what's that?
Nicholson. I think you know Jenny Nicholson. She's been posting on
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah.
how
Yeah, I
suppose it's
love just
being
watching her like break down about this movie. It's
yeah.
hilarious.
Supposedly the that concept book is being like recalled, like pre-orders are being canceled, and the only
Really?
reason that we have the yeah the that concept where like that concept book was because it was released early in North Korea, but then
Oh.
like
Oh
yeah,
shit.
but supposedly they're canceling it and they're re-releasing it.
That gives me a very different picture of like all of these concept art books now. Holy shit.
So I don't know. People were theorizing that maybe JJ was going on a power trip about it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't read have you seen the whole thing about Colin Trevorrow's like Duel of the Fates thing?
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't read the actual story. I've been meaning to, but like I heard like everyone fucking loves it so much.
that's what I've been hearing too.
I will say just off the title alone, it is so much better. I remember
Yeah,
me and Scribe, like the morning the trailer came out with like Stephen Colbert hosting the Star Wars convention panel, and it said Star Wars. Like the trailer is all great, and then
yeah.
the title hits Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, and I just went eh. And Scribe was telling me about how he and his friend were sitting in his dorm, and the title appeared, and he was like, "Well, that just sort of." Ugh. And
'Cause I feel there really wasn't a consistency throughout the titles in this
yeah,
trilogy.
yeah, like the Force Awakens was nice, and then the Last Jedi was also. I don't know if it was the appropriate title. It is a good title. Um, but then the Rise of Skywalker is definitely I don't know the. I guess technically it is appropriate, but like at the same time, no, I just
Oh
don't like
yeah,
it. It's just
I like
too on
the
the nose. It's way too on the nose.
idea. I don't know if you heard this theory that originally in the Last Jedi that Luke was gonna be the Last Jedi, and so people were theorizing that maybe the new name for Force users was gonna be Skywalker.
Yeah, which yeah, and that's like the whole like which is why she sort of like takes up the name, I guess, where it's like, okay, now anyone who is like a Jedi is a Skywalker, I guess, but like
Yeah,
I don't.
but
The problem is like the biggest problem that like with this entire trilogy is the fact that Disney focused on making the movies first before they focused on making the story. They were like, okay, we're gonna make a Star Wars movie because that's how we make money off of buying this $4 billion franchise. So, I mean, it makes sense why they did it, like from a commercial perspective, but it's like, come on, guys, just a little bit more planning.
yeah,
That's the music. I think your pick is Little Women. My pick is maybe Joker, just because that's the one that I don't have a strong thing for music. All of these are sort of, other than Joker being sort of like on its own, but like so it's strictly tied to the movie. That's the only one I
yeah.
can picture here being like good.
I'm going off
Um,
of from what I can remember, and the two that stand out are Little Women and Marriage Story for me.
Makeup and hairstyling. Um, wow.
Oh,
He dyed my
I feel
hair
like
green. That and he put some face paint. Wow. That's the why? Why? Joker. I mean, I could see it more than like some of the sound shit, but at the same time, it's like it's just that one guy's costume. Like, come on.
yeah,
I think it might be Bombshell.
think so.
Yeah, just because the way that they made Charlize Theron look so much like Megan Kelly,
Okay,
like
I can
purely
see
just
that.
off of that. Um, what was in the second Maleficent movie? I never watched it, and I don't
I'll watch
think
the
I will
first
watch
one.
it. I watched the first one; it was okay. 1917 really have makeup and hairstyling though.
I don't, from what I've heard, it really wasn't that good because people were saying that Cumberbatch, like when you're watching the movie, it feels like you're watching Cumberbatch acting, and that was like a
Oh,
really distracting aspect of it. I don't know if Scribe might feel different. We'll
I'll
have to
ask him
see.
about that. And
Yeah,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess really my only pick is Bombshell. I could
yeah.
see Joker maybe taking it away. I don't know why it would. Yeah, I've never watched Judy. I don't know what is that like an international film or something.
I think it's kind of like a biopic, but I'm not sure.
In it,
I
so
don't. I don't really have a choice. I guess
Mm.
it can go either way for me.
I think I'm not rooting for Bombshell, but I can just see it winning.
Maybe Maleficent,
International.
but
Oh yeah, maybe yeah, just because the way they
maybe
do everything with like all the fantasy creatures. But
yeah. But
I mean, why don't they just have something like costume design? I mean, maybe that just comes in part with production design, but like then like what do you do
maybe
with all the superhero movies, right? Where you have all these awesome suits.
yeah.
Anyway, international feature film. I think it's safe to say Parasite is gonna
Right.
win this.
Yeah.
Um, it's either gonna be Parasite or maybe Pain and Glory because everyone keeps talking about how that film is really good. Um,
I didn't even heard about it before seeing the nominations.
everyone, but maybe that's just more reliant on Antonio Banderas'
Or
performance.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's safe to say Parasite is probably gonna win that one.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd
I
be
don't know
surprised too.
how you would get it to win international feature film, but then the thing is, I don't. If it wins international feature film, I don't see it winning best picture.
Yeah.
But like,
I'd
I
be
mean, I
surprised if
guess
it
it could
wins
win both.
both, but I really I doubt it.
Um, film editing. I heard great things about Ford versus Ferrari in terms of editing. Um, so I
Oh
think
yeah, there were some really good shots, and like the way that they cut when like the car's racing and they cut to like the wheel to
yeah,
driving.
I saw the clip of the race with Christian Bale, and I thought that was fucking great. So I
Yeah,
just based off that
I
alone,
was
I can see that.
yeah.
Uh, Was there anything great as far as editing in The Irishman? You talked about production design, but
Yeah.
anything like the back
Um,
door?
really, there really wasn't anything that great about the editing because I feel like The Irishman really works because of like the actors and those like and the script. But other than that, the editing feels choppy sometimes because you don't know when like since the characters are supposed to look younger but they don't look younger, it's hard to tell how much time has passed.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I don't think I can see it because all of that even comes from like VFX and stuff too. That it's like
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much really happened in the cutting room. I could see I for some reason I could see Jojo Rabbit winning this just because of the dynamic feel of that movie. Really, a lot of it comes from the editing room. Um,
Yeah.
but Joker, like again, I could, I can't, I no, I can't see it. I was like trying to make an argument for why it could win, and then I was like, no, I can't. No, it's really it's a lot of it's so much practical camera shots and stuff that make that movie enjoyable to me that I don't know how much of that happened in the editing room per se. It's more on-site work.
I
Um,
feel like we're trying to find ways to justify why the Joker's in all these categories,
yeah.
but I don't
And
think
it's
there's a
fucking hilarious because I remember when
yeah,
the movie came out, I was like, "Oh, but this is such a like a hated movie that it's not going to be nominated for shit. Like, if anything, it's going to be nominated for music, and then that's it." And now
yeah.
it's the fucking 11 nominations bullshit.
I felt the opposite.
Fuck.
I felt that Joaquin Phoenix was the only thing that was gonna get like nominated for anything.
I thought see, I thought about that, but then back then I was like, well, he does like all the shit in the movie that like I don't know if this were managed by like I don't know fucking Good Morning America, they would be like, yeah, but we don't want to deal with that controversy, so we're not going to nominate him or something like that. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought maybe it was just going to be music. But yeah, music and acting were like the two things that I was like, okay, that makes sense. But everything else is going to be hated. But now it has 11 fucking nominations. God damn it. Um, but yeah, uh, documentary. Um, I haven't watched any of these. I've heard a lot of good things about Walk Run Cha Cha. Um,
Yeah.
like a lot of good things. Like everyone freaking out about how that movie is really good. So I don't,
Oh,
or that
yeah.
documentary is really good. So
I'll have to put it on the list.
yeah, I'm planning on watching it maybe this weekend sometime. So yeah, that's a good one. A feature documentary. Um, Honeyland was on this list twice. Yeah, one for international and then that. So I guess I could see Honeyland maybe winning this, maybe
Yeah.
just because it's like it's on the level of an international feature film. Um, other than that, I haven't really watched any of these, so can't say. Have you seen
It
any
might
of
be.
these?
I've heard about the Edge of Democracy, but I haven't seen it. But for this one, I'm not sure what could win.
It's just strategy wise. If Parasite wins international film feature, then the only thing that's on that list that's on another list is Honeyland. So I could see it
I can
just
see that
just
too.
by tactics alone. As far as quality, I'm no judge. Directing. Okay, here's the big
Here's
boy.
the yeah.
I don't know. I could see Bong Joon Ho winning this. That's just really because he won the Golden
Yeah.
Globe. So I don't.
Yeah. This is gonna be a thing though. If it
Yeah,
wins international, will it win?
directing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I could,
Will
I
it
could see that
win?
happening much more likely than winning feature in both of them, right? So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can
maybe
see.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah. Maybe Martin Scorsese. I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like some of them, like by name alone, might win just because you know the Oscars.
Although I
Other than
could see Todd Phillips winning, I don't want him to win. But again, I don't know if I honestly see him winning. Do you think Tarantino will win?
I feel like he might win.
I
I feel
mean, it
like
is
for
such a like because I'll talk about story later, but just as far as direction, it's not bad. It's pretty good. So
yeah.
I could see it. I could see it. I think my picks are either Tarantino or Bong Joon-ho. I think.
For me, yeah, Quentin Tarantino or Scorsese.
That. Costume design. I this is a nomination for Joker that I can sort of be okay with. Just
Yeah.
because the movie does still feel like it is in like the 1970s sort of feeling. Um, and they do a good job, at least, especially with like the late night TV show, making that look like it's an actual like old late night TV show. That I can be okay with that costume design. Um, a lot of people say Little Women would win.
I think Little Women might win. Just like, how do I say this? Like the way they look and the way they're dressing, I feel like it has a good shot for costume design. Everything
It
about that
was
movie felt majestic.
I've heard yeah, that's like the one thing for costume design that's been thrown around everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, Little Women's gonna win. So I think
Because
that's
there's
probably gonna win.
a lot of like dresses and stuff that just and like suits that just like look good. I don't know.
Mm. I I thought about Jojo Rabbit too, but
Yeah.
I could see that winning as well. But that's like on par with like something like even like Once Upon a Time. Like, Once Upon a Time, The Irishman and Jojo Rabbit are like in a category for me, and then maybe also Joker. But then Little Women, yeah, I can see just based off even what I've seen
Yeah.
in the trailer, it definitely yeah, it stands apart.
I feel like that one might
Yeah,
win. I don't know. I just wanted to win as many awards as I can.
as many as it can.
As
Yeah,
many as I can.
how many has it been nominated for? Like at least four, right?
Got
Was it
4.
nominated for Best Picture? Oh yeah, no, it wasn't
Oh, it wasn't.
because
It was adapted, I
yeah,
think.
because oh yeah, no, it was nominated for Best Picture actually.
It was?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't even see
Well,
that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if it'll win Best Picture, but
I
yeah,
remember
it'll
making
win something.
I remember making a big deal because Greta Gerwig didn't get a. I felt like she got snubbed.
Director's nomination. Yeah, yeah. All the
Yeah,
directors are.
and I made a joke about how like the guy with the feet
Yeah, yeah.
fetish and
Congratulations to all the men or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, and then I made a joke on Twitter about like what's it called? Oh, the guy with the fetish for Martin Scorsese, and then the guy with the feet fetish get a nomination, but not Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
And people were like, this one guy who has a YouTube channel called The Moral Limits. He's like, actually, I didn't think the Joker was that bad. I don't know why people are hating on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I like the movie, but compared to like some of these, it just feels odd to just keep including it into things.
Yeah. It's like more so than any other year. I think this has been like a they pick like there's a movies in like a coin collection, and then they take a
Yeah,
small handful, and then they scatter them in a category, and then they're like, oh shit, we're out of pennies. So then they just keep scattering the same pennies across the same
yeah.
categories.
It feels like yeah, like I'm going through the list again. It just feels like the same thing after thing.
Yeah. Um. Did you see the Hollywood Directors Roundtable?
Oh, I haven't.
Um, yeah, they did the Hollywood Reporter did their like roundtable thing. I highly recommend that series. It's awesome to just even just listen to it while you're like in the shower or just running or something or doing errands. Um, that series is awesome. But like throughout that thing, it's the directors roundtable is Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig, Scorsese, the guy who did Two Popes, Todd Phillips, and then I think one other person. Oh yeah, the director of the one Aquafina movie, that one Asian lady who did something.
Marvel?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not 100% sure. But throughout the entire thing, like they keep like sometimes just occasionally we get to see a larger frame and it's like Scorsese sometimes just stares at Todd Phillips like in a very intent way, like a hmm. And then whenever Todd Phillips stares at Scorsese, he has like a sort of apologetic look on his face, like, hi, I'm sorry, like that. And it's just fucking hilarious to just think that these two are just like in the same room together, just looking at each other like, you copied my film. I'm sorry, I copied your film. Like that, just at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. So that's costume design. Cinematography. This is a big one. Do you think, because this is the one, the Lighthouse was snubbed, right? Is it fair to say the Lighthouse was snubbed?
Yeah, I think it's fair
Like
to
even
say.
just Defoe, even just purely off of Defoe, the Lighthouse was snubbed.
Yeah.
Do you think it will win this?
I wanted to win just because it's snubbed out of everything else, but I feel like hmm, either 1917 or Once Upon a Time is gonna
I will
get
say
it.
1917 is either going to win production design or it's going to win cinematography.
Yeah.
If it doesn't win production design, I think it's going to win cinematography. Um,
Yeah.
I can sort of agree with this Joker nomination just because I liked a lot of the shots,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's either Lighthouse or 1917 in my mind. I think.
I feel like there's a lot of like, how do I say this? Just like the way that he makes Hollywood look in Once Upon a Time. So I think that's the only reason that I can see it winning.
Because
But
because
like the way
especially
that
like some of those
sh-
the movie in the movies part, the one with him going to the I forgot what the actual movie was called, but just you know what I'm talking about, right? The guy comes and he has the girl hostage and shit.
yeah, yeah.
So I could see it doing something there. But yeah, that's any good cinematography in The Irishman, or does it really just come from production design?
I think it only comes from production design because there's a lot of like there's not really any exterior shots that I can recall. It's all like indoors and like conversations.
So I guess yeah, 1917 Lighthouse, and then for you, you said 1917 Once Upon a Time.
Once upon maybe Lighthouse, but I don't know. I hope it wins though.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a Lighthouse nomination or Lighthouse win, but you never know. Animated feature film. This is the one that's like just has like huge ass thumbnails, but sure. I'm rooting for Klaus. I want Klaus to win.
Me too.
Um, I watched Klaus just recently. Holy fuck, is it not only like a heart wrenching film, just a
Yeah,
amazing film, just in general. Because I was
I
like, before I was like, okay, I've only seen Toy Story and then How to Train Your Dragon, so maybe Toy Story because I like How to Train Your Dragon, but maybe Toy Story. But then after watching Klaus, I was just like, oh yeah, no, Klaus has to win.
feel like it should win, but since Toy Story's here,
I could
like I can see Toy Story like you know
I can see Toy Story winning as well. I wonder. There's been a lot of love for Missing Link because didn't Missing Link win the Golden Globes?
yeah.
So yeah, I could see Missing Link maybe winning. Um, but yeah, no, I'm full on rooting for Klaus.
And I can see the reactions for animated feature when Klaus got nominated and not Frozen too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, holy shit! Everyone was like, "Suck a dick, Frozen 2. And it was like did you ever see my Frozen 2 video?
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's I still stand by that. It's just like it was just a it looked amazing, and then when you watch it, you're like, "Oh, this is so mediocre that it's like, ugh."
yeah. But then I can see like the
But yeah,
mouse passing out for like a minute, but then they're like, "We got Toy Story in this. We're gonna win." Like so, you
yeah,
like
I could.
you- they're
Yeah,
like, "All right,
how much
you,
influence do you think the mouse has in this type of shit? Because it is an ABC show.
yeah." But man,
It makes you think like how much you think Disney is like because it's weird because then everyone talks about how like the Oscars are always snubbing superhero films and like Marvel films. But then like this is an ABC show. So it's like technically Disney is in control of like they could one day just decide, you know what? All the best picture nominations are going to be superhero films and it's like they could do that if they really wanted to. So it's weird.
I think for this one, even Oscar stood up and said Klaus is gonna be nominated and not Frozen.
Yeah. If Klaus wins, holy shit, I'm going to cry.
I don't know.
This was a
I
good
wanted
film.
to win, but I feel like
The only
hopefully,
the only thing in Klaus I didn't like or not didn't like, but I was just like I was surprised it wasn't as good as I thought it would be was just the entire just Santa Claus as a character was like he's cool but like very underdeveloped.
I can see that. It's
But
funny if
other
like
than that, like
it's funny because we're focusing on like these movies, but like imagine if something like I Lost My Body wins. Like
yeah,
out
I
of the
mean
left
that would be and that's also a Netflix movie, right? So maybe I should watch that sometime. But no anime films, which is somewhat surprising. Usually they sneak in like an animated anime in here. Like I don't know, like Weathering for You or something could be on here, I guess. Or like or what's Your Name? Your Name. That
screen.
could have been on
I
here.
can feel yeah.
Could
But
have
I'm
like I
thinking
love the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, but I don't know if it was Oscars material. They could have substituted that for like Your Name.
yeah. But I'm not sure how many Netflix movies will actually win. Because I feel like there's still that bias against it since it's a streaming platform.
It's
Like
it's it's surprising even that two of them are nominated.
because I know that even in my theater that's re-showing these Oscar nominations, they're not going to show The Irishman or The Marriage Story, even though I would love to see them in the big screen.
I guess maybe do you think this could be the changing year for that since like people like Noah Baumbach and Scorsese are going to like a platform like Netflix to make their movies?
I I I want to think it will, but I feel like only time will tell. Like I'm gonna be like I'm really anxious to see the Oscars this year, just to see if like it's gonna be like you say it's gonna be a turning point, especially for like Netflix.
Because it seems
And if
like
you,
that. Just as far as
yeah,
the nominations, it's like, oh yeah, no, Netflix is rocking their shit, and like we're getting all these like movies that like people have honestly sort of seen. Like people have seen The Irishman, and people have seen Joker, and people have seen the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and people have seen Marriage Story too. And Jojo Rabbit, to a certain degree, has been a big enough film. So
yeah,
it's like this is
and
the
I'm
year that like it's not just a lot of fucking what's that movie that won Green Books? It's not just a lot of
like,
Green Books. It's like these are movies that we've seen.
yeah, and it's what was I gonna say? And then I wonder if in the years moving forward, if we're gonna see other movies from other exclusives from other streaming services be nominated.
Yeah, yeah, like
That'd be
maybe like if like Disney Plus makes some shit
yeah,
or like the NBC whatever or like HBO.
yeah,
Like
the
if
HBO.
HBO like they always make TV shows, but like if they made an original movie, I
Yeah.
feel like that has a high chance of being nominated somewhere on here maybe.
Even if because the theaters like the mainstreams, they're not showing like their Netflix movies, but Netflix can go around and say like screw it, we're gonna make our own like movie theater chain, and they could like I feel like they could do so because they have like that like the films they acquire can like
Yeah,
they
they
have
could.
enough.
They have
Yeah,
a
they have.
well-established thing to have like just runnings of Stranger Things season 4 whenever it comes out to just be like, okay, every week we're gonna release a new episode of it and we're gonna show it on a theater here. And then I think it's not gonna be great, but like if they do that exclusively in theaters for like the first like 2 months of it coming out and then like release it on Netflix 2 months later, I feel like you would still get high enough ticket sales for like just going to watch it in a theater. I don't
Imagine imagine a
I don't know if they
Netflix
would do that, but
theater. Yeah, because imagine a Netflix movie theater, especially when was it in December when they released Marriage Story, Irishman, Two Popes, stuff like that, and just like that, like the options that people will have if Netflix will have had a movie theater during
I'm
that month.
I there is a part of me that's sort of scared about that, especially with the
Yeah,
whole thing that happened like last month or 2 months ago with the whole I don't know if you watch Screen Junkies Universe News, but they talked about how like Disney was like there was some court order that like got appealed where it was like technically now like big movie studios and production studios can buy movie theaters. So then it's like if Disney were to just buy AMC and then just be like, okay, so now we can just release only Disney movies now.
I
Then
think
it's
that's
like
yeah, but I think that's what's
that.
happening right now because there's a lot more showtimes for something like Toy Story 4 or Quentin Tarantino's movies, and even like DC movie and Marvel movies. And I think
Who
that's
knows?
what
Maybe that's just because we're getting older and we tend to see more of those movies. But like,
yeah,
because that's how I feel too. Is like, because like a year ago, if you were to ask me about nominating Infinity War for Best Picture, I would be like, yeah, do that. But then now I'm like, eh. So it's like maybe that's just why. But I have no idea.
I think that's why Martin Scorsese got so upset about it because the
Yeah, he's
Lighthouse.
like he was fucking pissed off about like no one is gonna finance my bringing back Robert De Niro and me, and like we're gonna make a huge movie with Joe Pesci, and
Yeah,
it's like,
imagine
come on, make my movie. But then it's like people don't care, and
yeah,
that's why he goes off and talks about how Marvel movies aren't cinema.
imagine being like the golden boy of Hollywood for so many years, and then now having to go to like an alternative streaming site, like an alternative streaming site to just make a movie that you want to
He
make.
sees it as like going to a kid to make because Netflix is a kid. They were just born a couple years ago. It's like, and he has to rely on this kid now. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, that's it's understandable why Scorsese is the way that he is. Like I used to think like okay, he was sort of being just an asshole, but like it makes sense why he's sort of being an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah. Moving on to actress in a supporting role. Should Scarlett this is more of a general question. Should ScarJo be nominated for this for Jojo Rabbit and main role in Marriage Story?
imagine if she wins both.
That would suck. Just because it's like, I'll be honest. I loved Marriage Story.
Yeah,
Not even like as a picking sides thing. I enjoyed Adam Driver's performance more than I enjoyed Scarlett Johansson's performance.
yeah,
And I
and
mean, the
yeah,
movie seemed more like centered around Adam Driver. And for like looking back, just even looking at the history, Noah Baumbach got married to this one lady
yeah.
and he was a small sort of director. He wrote a couple of films. He wrote Madagascar 3, for example. Um, and yeah, he was a sort of small guy, and then he started like a thing, like, and then like when you look at the Wikipedia page, which it's Wikipedia, but it says that he started a relationship with Greta Gerwig in 2011, but then Noah Baumbach actually got divorced in 2013. So it's like when you think about it, it's like, okay, this is very clearly at least somewhat derived from his own experience,
Yeah.
right? The story of Marriage Story. So yes, like I can
Because
understand why it sort of is more reliant on Adam Driver's character, but even still, it's like just in general, I thought that Driver did more of a convincing portrayal than ScarJo.
because Scarlett Johansson in that movie just felt like how do I say this? Like she's just kind of like being a yes man to whatever people are telling her. Like especially with the
Yeah.
lawyer. Again, a
And
lot of them.
I think I wanted a moment in that movie where it was just ScarJo maybe like cuz like there are moments here and there where she's like, "Oh, should we do that?" And then Laura Dern's like, "Oh yeah, no, we have to do that." I want a moment like in that movie where it's similar to how Charlie was just like, "No, I don't want to do this. I want this to all go normally and shit." I wanted a moment sort of like that for ScarJo in that movie. And I
Yeah.
think that it didn't have that to a strong degree.
I think I feel
So,
like yeah, I think I feel like that's where it gets like I feel like that's why a lot of people are saying like, oh, Noah Baumbach really got a lot of this from a show life, even though he says that he didn't, which is kind of weird because in the movie it's the movie at least I feel like it's siding more towards Adam Driver, and the movie doesn't
yeah.
understand like what Scarlett Johansson is trying to do, and I feel like that's like a allegory for Noah Baumbach
And I
that he did.
wonder I yeah, it is, but like I wonder, do you think the movie would have been better if it did that, or is the movie good because it focuses on Driver's character?
I think it's good because it focuses more on his character.
So like as a like maybe just looking at it from a different perspective, you can say, "Oh yeah, the movie focuses too much on Adam Driver." But like I think that's where its merits come from. Is cuz
Yeah.
it's able to focus on this one guy and his breakdown, like not to me a Joker thing, but his breakdown in society to like, "Oh my god, why is all of this shit happening?" you know?
Because even he tries to be a nice guy and like tries to get like that lawyer who's like more on the passive side, but he realizes that he has to be a jerk if he wants to like get anything out of this divorce.
And I really love that moment where like he walks into the court and like he just has Ray Liotta's character, like he is the lawyer now, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh shit. I love that that moment sort of happened, like that actual moment happened off camera, because the
yeah.
whole Halloween thing was like beautiful, just seeing him like try his very best and utterly fail, and that itself is the justification for that lawyer moment. But yeah, I did really like ScarJo and Jojo Rabbit. I will say that. I think she deserves the nomination for supporting role for sure.
I like
Um,
Florence Pug. I
yeah,
hope
I
she wins.
see everyone is talking about how she was amazing in that movie, so I can see her winning.
The worst part,
Everyone is
for, like
also talking.
yeah,
Go ahead.
because in the book, I know that her character is a little girl and she ages throughout it. So I don't know. In this movie, there's part in the beginning she acts like really immature, and I was like, wow, she's really acting like I don't know, like a little kid. But then like I read the book and I'm like, oh, this is why. Like she's like channeling like this like younger kid, like a young like because she was reacting in a way like in an irrational way, like a younger sister will act if her older sisters were being mean to her. And I'm like,
Convincing enough? Like
she was
she
like really
plays.
convinced, like that she was actually younger than what her age is.
So then, yeah, maybe I can see that. Do you think Laura Dern was like as amazing as everyone? Because she won the Golden Globe, right, for supporting.
Yeah, uh, I don't feel it's. I don't feel it's as iconic. Like her
Yeah,
performance was that good.
every time I saw her in The Last Jedi and I hated her character in The Last Jedi. And then I saw her in this movie and I hated her character in this movie. But I think that's the point, right?
Yeah,
Is that you hate her character. In The Last Jedi, maybe not so much so, because at the end you're supposed to like her character. And even at the end, I was like, well, she still seems like an asshole. But in this, like, she's supposed to be that. So like she does a good job with that. But I don't know if
I like the
that's
categories
just her acting
actress, yeah, like actress in a supporting role, and I feel like in a supporting role, you have to give a performances that like sort of rivals the one like the main performance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so I feel
also,
like
like,
Florence
Margot
really does
Robbie
that really
is, like,
well.
is she a supporting role in this? Like,
I
she's one of the 3 main characters, right? Like,
think so, yeah.
I
I'm curious to see that one now, Bombshell.
yeah. And, yeah, I think my pick is gonna be ScarJo for supporting, and I think
Um,
your pick is probably Florence.
yeah, Florence,
I can see
I think.
Florence winning, though.
Yeah,
I could see both of us being wrong, though, and Laura Dern just winning this too, so
like Margaret Robbie.
yeah. Or yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's actress in a supporting role. Actress in a supporting role. Okay, this is also something that's very confusing. Because all of these actors are like main roles. Maybe in The Irishman, Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, not so much. But Anthony Hopkins is one of the popes. Tom
Yeah,
Hanks is Fred Rogers himself. Brad Pitt is the fucking main character, aside from Leonardo DiCaprio in the fucking movie. I don't understand how they pick these characters for the like. Is it just because they have too many main role nominations, so they just push some of them to the supporting role?
I think it's the studio that like nominates them because I remember
Oh, so
seeing.
it's like
Yeah,
if for your consideration, Brad Pitt for supporting role.
I think he was
That yeah,
also like as the main the leading actor. For your
I meant
consideration,
like
it was DiCaprio and Brad Pitt.
it's I'm imagine if they had nominated someone for both supporting and it's like the mirrored it's like the ScarJo thing, but like even worse.
Yeah,
It's like imagine they win both, but then it's like, oh, it's the same movie. So I don't know. I think as far as supporting role, I think Brad Pitt has a good chance.
yeah.
Um, that's all. I didn't watch The Irishman, so I can't really talk about Joe Pesci and Al Pacino, but
But
I
out
can
of the
at least
two,
say
I
Brad
think,
Pitt.
yeah, out of Al Pacino and Joe Pesci for Irishman, I think it'll be Al Pacino. Anthony Hopkins, I'm not sure.
What? Yeah.
I haven't seen A
What
Beautiful Day in the
again? What the
Neighborhood.
fuck happened in the Two Hopes?
It'll be interesting because both of these actors, like in their roles, they feel like you're watching the two popes.
Mm.
It'd
I
be.
mean,
I'm interested to see who wins.
I think Tom Hanks has a chance. Like I could see it.
Yeah, I can see it as well. But a lot of people
He's like,
I've heard from reviews that his performance, although was good, it felt a bit like unnerving, like too robotic sometimes.
oh, okay. Yeah, I sensed that from the trailer actually a little bit,
Yeah.
just from like, yeah. I wonder if have you watched Troy Oboyo at all?
Yeah.
The Clark a Superman story rewrite.
I haven't seen that video yet.
He did this rewrite, and not too much of a spoiler, but he cast Tom Hanks as Clark, like in not a Joker style sort of like All Star Superman story. Um,
Okay.
and it's like
I can
it sort of reminds me of like what this movie sort of is, because it's like, yeah, he is the positive force behind like the other characters in the movie, right?
yeah.
That's what he sort of reminded me of, and I could see him winning,
I
but
can
yeah,
yeah.
who knows? Actress in a leading
So
role. I think your pick is probably Saoirse Ronan, right?
yeah. She was really
And
great in
I
this.
don't feel strongly about Scarlett Johansson, so I mean I should probably default to Saoirse Ronan. I haven't watched Harriet, so I don't know anything about her. I love Charlize Theron as an actor, but I don't really know what sticks out with her in Bombshell. And I don't know who Renee Zeg. I don't really know any of these people. I'm a misogynistic um Indian man who doesn't watch females. So that's a complete joke, by the way, for those of you without a sense for sarcasm. But yeah, I guess I could say Saoirse Ronan then.
Yeah. She was really good in this.
Actress in a
Uh,
leading role. Okay, here's the thing. Joaquin Phoenix, I love Joaquin
Yeah,
Phoenix. I see him winning, and I can sort of stand by that. But holy fuck, do I want Adam Driver to win? I just want him to win. I just really, 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 really want him to win.
I can see the Oscar, like the people who vote on this being like, Adam Driver's not Hollywood enough yet to win leading role.
Yeah, he's sort of going through his Leonardo DiCaprio in a way where it's like he has to go out and do so many fucking films before he does one film that like not a lot of people like, but then it's gonna get him an Oscar nomination. It's like, who watched The Revenant? Did anyone watch The Revenant? I didn't watch The Revenant.
You watched it? Yeah, I watched it because my dad's really
And
into
yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah. So I don't know if DiCaprio would win this. I don't.
I feel
Eh.
like Joaquin Phoenix might, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know if Leo has a
It's gonna be
chance.
so weird for him to win at the Golden Globes for this same thing, and then win at the SAG Awards for the same thing, and then also win at the Oscars. It would
Yeah,
feel a little weird, but it makes sense, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, technically, I do have to say, like, Joaquin Phoenix's performance is, like, I guess, better than Adam Driver's performance. But still, goddamn it, I really just want Adam Driver to win. Man
I mean,
deserves it, but
yeah.
I heard good things about Jonathan Price, but
He was, yeah.
not. And
I think what
Antonio Banderas is also good in that movie, I've heard. So who knows?
I'm curious to see it now, Pain and Glory.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Leo
yeah,
feels like more an afterthought in Once Upon a Time,
yeah.
especially the
I
last
I
15
like
minutes.
and I will
I liked his
let me
character,
go
but
sort of. Yeah,
okay.
I want to go sort of on my own on Once Upon a Time rant because see, I like the movie now more than I liked it when I watched it. I watched it on a flight, and it was good. It was high quality, I guess. Didn't really detract from my experience. The lights were off and it was fine, and I was eating fucking what was I eating? Fucking like a a bread sandwich or some shit. So I had a quality experience watching it. That didn't really affect it, but Scribe told me don't watch Once Upon a Time as your first Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And I did exactly what he told me not to do. And I watched Once Upon a Time as my first Tarantino movie. And I thought that the story was just narratively so weak that I was like, how can anyone enjoy this movie? And it's like, but now looking back on it, it's like I see that that's not the point of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But it's
I think,
like,
yeah, because I feel
go
like
ahead.
there's a lot of build up for those 15 minutes. And if you watch like a lot of like Quentin Tarantino, you realize that a lot of his stuff is like revenge fantasy. And I think that this movie merits another rewatch because at first going into it, I didn't know what to expect. So I was just like, okay, all of these scenes don't really like narratively flow together. But a second time rewatch,
It feels like three different stories just tied into each other.
especially the Sharon Tate.
Yeah. And on not even that, even just like the Brad Pitt thing, it was so slow that it was
Yeah,
just like the whole thing with him going to the place and then finding him and then talking to that one dude and then leaving. I was like, what the fuck is the point of any
yeah,
of this? Like, I know that these guys go and murder someone later on, but does it have to be this slow? Like, it's just honestly, it's grueling to watch. I'm like, I can't keep watching this, and I almost like was so tired that I just forwarded that part, but I didn't. I sat through it all, and it's like I do appreciate it because it is like he's reviewing history and then like changing it
yeah,
because like that's what he did in Inglourious Bastards too, right? I think. So it's
yeah,
like
at the
I understand, but at the same time, it's like what's And I mean, I get the point behind the whole Sharon Tate thing because it's like he didn't want to make her a Tarantino character. He
Yeah.
wanted her to be like just like he wanted like people to just remember how she was. And
Yeah.
I get that. Like at the same time, it's just like maybe the movie should have just ended with that one day. Like I get them coming back, but then like what's the point with any of it? It feels very it feels like a movie that's been cut up into pieces and then like mixed around. But then also if you mix it back to its original place, I don't see a movie there. It's still just like a weird non-narrative story.
I saw this one comment in a video reviewing the movie where they were saying that it felt like Quentin Tarantino was really talking about like like the golden age of Hollywood, where like actors were like friends with each other, and like the actors could just go to like a matinee like during the day at some movie theater, and like nothing would happen to them.
Just
But
go and watch their own movie, yeah.
yeah, watch their own movie, and like Brad Pitt's character, Leonardo DiCaprio's characters are really close, even though one of them is an actor and another one is a stunt double. And talking about how like where it feels like Quentin Tarantino is sort of like giving a big fu to Charles Manson for
Yeah.
just making Hollywood, because like I've read, I haven't really gone into depth about this, but after that Sharon Tate murder, everything sort of changed, and
Yeah,
actors
that's like
now
that's somewhat sometimes like the turning point for that.
that
Like
was
in the
like
same way that like I don't know what her name is, Christina Grimmie or something, was like a
yeah,
YouTuber, and then she got like shot at like a streaming thing. And then after that, YouTubers changed to like being like very cautious around going to events and stuff like that. Where before it was like, okay, there's like VidCon with like 1,000 people, and then like Shane Dawson and the Green Brothers and like a bunch of other people just show up and then just interact with their fans and it's fun. And then after that like specific event, things fucking like change for YouTube and like VidCon and everything around fan interactions. So it's
yeah,
like that's like it's a it's something of a smaller scale because YouTube isn't as big of a platform, but still a death like that is what changed like the platform and changed the fan interaction. And I think that's sort of the same thing with the Sharon Tate murders is that after that everyone was like, "Oh, holy shit, these people are in danger."
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, I there's a comparison that not a lot of people have been making that I sort of see is with this and La La Land, where both are sort of like, you know, in a way, just jerking off Hollywood to be like, ah,
yeah,
Hollywood, it's amazing and this and that. But like the thing that I see with La La Land is it still has a compelling love story. Um, that I didn't see as much in this. Like I love
yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio's story about him just being a better actor. Like I really just enjoyed that, like of everything in the movie. But
yeah.
like that was one part of the movie. And I don't know. I can't I don't want to criticize Tarantino because that's clearly not what he was trying to do. Like he wasn't trying to make a fully cohesive narrative journey about one character or a couple of characters. He was trying to make like very specific little tidbits of the old film culture. So he succeeded at that. It's just it wasn't exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah, and I think not a lot of people were expecting that.
Yeah. But yeah, onto the big boy, I guess, with the best picture nominations. This is this is a hard one.
Yeah,
I guess first we should go by eliminations. Um
even
Little
then,
Women,
that's
do you
kind
think
of
it'll
hard.
win?
As much as I like it, I don't think it's gonna win.
That's like I didn't maybe it was just such it was like such a recent release too.
Yeah,
And like it hasn't been like capitalizing so much on the culture that like I don't if it wins, like it's sort of like the same thing that happened with Green Book, right? Because it's like I guess no one really watched Green Book, but it still won. I
yeah.
could see it winning, but at the same time, not really so much. So just for one, let's eliminate that, I guess. Ford versus
But
Ferrari, I don't see that winning either.
I feel like if it wins, no one's really gonna be upset. Because I remember leaving Ford
Yeah.
versus Ferrari when I watched it, and I was like, "This is the movie of the year." Because I was just like
Mm.
in throughout the whole time, and I really loved it when I watched it. So like I feel like
Which
Ford
is
and
sort of
Ferrari
like what
has.
I felt for Knives Out too, where it was like, this is amazing, this is awesome, and it wasn't. I guess it wasn't snubbed. That it's seven. What it is, 9 pictures. I'd love to see that little 10th box in the corner filled up by
Yeah,
Knives Out, but I
I think
mean,
so.
what can you do, right? Um,
Yeah,
I guess for now I can, just as far as
I,
like big controversial takes.
yeah, I'd
This
cross
is
it
not
out.
really one of them.
Yeah, I'd cross it out, but I feel like it might win, and if it wins, no one will really be upset about it, like they were with the
Yeah.
Green Book.
Okay. Eliminating
But
now just for fun. Um, we've got Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Parasite, Once Upon a Time, 1917, and Marriage Story.
I think Jojo Rabbit has a shot.
Yeah, I, you think you think it has a shot at winning?
No, I'm asking you. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I mean, I loved it, but I think it's sort of in the same boat as something like Knives Out, where it's like it's amazing and it's heartfelt and it's beautiful, and if it wins, some people are gonna be upset because it's like, oh, that was a Nazi film and it won, but like it was still like a good movie, but like it wasn't anything like a. There's like in my mind, there's a scale of like art piece film bro snubberiness and like just big budget blockbusters, right? And on one
Yeah,
end of it is something like Joker or like a lot of Scorsese movies, and on the other end of it is like fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp. So
yeah,
I see this as like it's on the like the film snubberiness, but it's definitely like on the like of all of these films that like other than Little Women and Ford versus Ferrari, it's definitely lowest on the film bro snubberiness. So
yeah.
um I guess
You'd
we'll just
cross
go
it out.
movie by movie then too. Irishman, do you think
I feel
Irishman
like
has a chance?
I think it has a chance just because of all the big names behind it.
I could see like all these old people just coming on stage to win this. I don't know why I picture Irishman just being made by all old people, but I could
Maybe yeah,
see it.
yeah,
I could see it winning. I could see. I'll save Joker for last. I'll 1917 could win, but
yeah,
also in the same boat like as Little Women. It came out so like recently, and again, not everyone has watched it. That it's like, eh,
yeah.
I could
I
see
think
it. I guess.
yeah, I think Once Upon a Time has a better shot than 1917.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say that. Yeah. 197 or Once Upon a Time has a good shot. In the same style as La La Land. It was like La La Land versus Whiplash.
Yeah,
I can see that between like not between, but like I can at least just see that for Once Upon a Time. Um
yeah,
Parasite, again, it's the whole international film thing. It could win
yeah,
international film and then also this, and I don't know if people will be upset, but people will be confused at the least.
yeah.
But I
Especially
can
it's one of
still
those
see it.
movies that not a lot of people saw.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna win,
Yeah, no.
but it's a good. I've heard good things about it, so who knows? You maybe. I'm not 100%. It would be a good. It would be a big win for international film culture.
Yeah,
Like this, it would be like a Slumdog Millionaires type thing where it's like, oh shit, the foreign movie. Where Slumdog Millionaire was not a Bollywood movie by any means. It was
oh
very
yeah,
much an American movie, but like still, it would be characterized in that way, I guess.
yeah.
Um, Marriage Story.
I don't think it's strong enough to win.
It is strong enough to win.
Do you feel like it
I could
is?
very easily see it
Yeah,
losing,
yeah,
though. It's in that like it's in sort of a Jojo Rabbit boat, but like not by controversy, but just by it being on Netflix and honestly not everyone really watching it.
yeah.
Um
And I think it doesn't really have a
it's
popular director behind it.
Yeah, like Noah Baumbach is great, and he has been
He's
like a
great.
up and coming name now, like primarily because of this movie. But I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't 100% know if it's gonna win. Um, but then yeah, the granddaddy of them all, the one and only, uh, clown prince of crime himself, is Joker going to win Best Picture?
That'll be like really controversial if
It
it
would be
does.
extremely
It would be-
controversial, and purely off of that, I can see it not winning.
Yeah.
But
By that
if it
same
wins,
token, I feel like it will win. Yeah.
if it wins, holy shit, am I gonna have a hoot and a holler of a time? That's like
So they're gonna have,
beautiful, beautiful for comedy video essays.
yeah.
Beautiful. We could just go on a rant about how this movie is gonna cause like the entire U.S. to be nuked by like North Korea or some shit. I could see it win.
Win?
I can see it winning. I can honestly, of all of these movies, I can see Joker winning the
Yeah.
most. I don't know why.
I hope it doesn't, but I can see it winning.
Yeah.
It just
I'm just imagining whoever comes on stage. Honestly, not this is what's gonna happen. I'm calling my shots right now. This is exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna come up on stage. The guy's gonna open the envelope, and inside, it's gonna say "Once Upon a Time in Hollywood." He's gonna fucking tear up the envelope and say "Joker wins," and then just do the fucking like mouth thing and like spill blood out of his mouth. The entire state, the entire Oscars like place is just gonna go up in flames, and then that's the end of the film industry. The entire film industry just fucking dies.
I can see that.
That's precisely what's gonna happen at the Oscars. Everything is gonna go like so normally at the Oscars until the Best Picture nomination, and then just like a parade of like people in clown masks are just gonna come up and say, "We live in a society," and then there's guy with a sign that says, "We are all clowns," and then someone's
And
gonna
there's
shoot Robert De Niro in the fucking eye. It's gonna happen, guys. I'm calling it already. Joker causes violence. It's gonna happen.
gonna be doing the staircase dance up to the stage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone off the stage are gonna be doing the fucking staircase dance.
They're gonna do a musical
God
number.
damn it. Yep. Joaquin Phoenix is just gonna run. He's just gonna run out. You know what'd be funny if Joaquin Phoenix, like the most fun thing with all these award shows is just watching Joaquin Phoenix talk. Like on the first
Yeah.
time, like at the Golden Globe, he just like came out and like tried to do something about climate change, and then the second time he like his speech at the SAG Awards. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's like him talking about all his nominees and shit. It's
Yeah.
honestly like, from a certain perspective, I can see it as soul of asshole-ish, but like it was still sort of heartwarming because he's
Yeah.
like, I want to take a moment to talk about my fellow nominees, and he talks about how Leonardo DiCaprio steals all of the roles that he and other actors want. He talks about how Christian Bale should just like try being a lousy actor for once because every single role he plays is great. And then he says that he really looks forward to whatever Taron Egerton is going to do, like in the future. What else does he say? He talks about how Adam Driver should have won instead of him.
Yeah.
So Joaquin
Oh
Phoenix
wow.
is an Adam Driver stand confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then he says finally he's like, I'm standing on the shoulders of Heath Ledger, so thank you. So like it's a good, from a perspective, it's like, oh, he's like praising his fellow nominees that he just like beat and won. But
Yeah.
like it's still heartwarming. So
Yeah.
I wonder if he wins, I wonder what he's gonna come up with for the Oscars.
I feel a lot of these nominations are sort of like how do I say it? How do I say this? But like they're there because like Heath Ledger wasn't as recognized for his role as a Joker as he should have been. And I think it's this
Yeah.
time it's more or less sort of like a redemption.
Yeah. Where it's like we're gonna like the people who play this character have dedicated, other than I mean,
Sort of,
Jared Leto was
yeah,
being an ass, but like,
yeah. It feels like
yeah,
let's acknowledge the actors who perform in this role really well.
yeah. I can. I
Yeah,
can't wait to see the Oscars just go up in fucking flames because of. Oh, I'm telling you again, 5 nominations or more. I'm sitting on my couch and I'm saying we live in a society for 30 minutes straight. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
those
But I
were.
think honestly, like, to wrap up my thought for Best Picture, I think it's gonna be Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Just because all of his other movies have been, I think all of his other movies have won. At least this
Really?
the
I didn't
last
even know that.
4. At least The Hateful
Oh
Eight,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Django.
Django, Hateful Eight, and Glorious Bastards, right?
I'm not sure if Inglourious Basterds won, but I know that, yeah. I feel like he's got a shot.
Yeah.
Like he's got a good shot at winning.
I'm sort of rooting for Marriage Story. I think. Um, I can see either Once Upon a Time winning, or I could see Joker winning, like as an
Yeah.
abstract scenario. But who knows? Maybe it'll be something like Little Women or Ford versus Ferrari, which would be, I don't know.
That would be
Best
great.
Picture, like honestly, Best Picture used to mean so much, and now it really, honestly, doesn't. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised with any of these really, other than maybe Parasite. Um, just because it has that international film nomination, but that's the only
Yeah.
reason. Everything else is. This entire podcast is essentially worthless because who knows? We could be wrong about all of this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's that's the Oscars. One last thing to talk about the Oscars, I guess. I've had this thing with the Oscars. Every time they're not having a host this year again, and it's gonna be sort of, I guess, boring because like, I mean, what are you gonna do without like the host monologue and shit like that? Um, I wonder if I had this idea. What if the Oscars like premiered films, like premiered short films or something?
Yeah. Like in between
I
the
feel,
segments, show like those short
yeah,
films that people don't have the
yeah.
opportunity to see.
Yeah, because you can't obviously premiere a big film, but like if you're not, or like even like maybe TV show episodes or something, I'm not 100% sure, but like even just like small shit that like hasn't been recognized or something, instead of getting ad revenue, how much,
Yeah.
maybe it wouldn't be as profitable, but like I feel like you would have like there's a good opportunity there with like the lack of everything going on at the Oscars to just start premiering films, like
Yeah.
short films and shit.
That'd be a good idea. I'm not sure though if they will risk their ad spots for that though.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be ad spots. Maybe it would be taking. I don't know if it'd be taking off nominations because that's pretty controversial. But like with all of the spare time they have, like with extra red carpet shit and stuff like that, where it's like not everyone is going to be watching this shit. Just like put up a couple like films just to like up it.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea. Hopefully they think about that in the future.
But the Oscars 2020 will be live Sunday, February 9th, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 p.m. or not 8 o'clock Eastern time. Is it what is that what it is?
It's
Yeah.
9,
8 Eastern time, 5 Pacific time,
9.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on ABC, the big old mouse. Haha. But yeah, that's the Oscars. Thank you for joining me on this just journey to talk about this corrupted method of nominating and awarding films. But fuck the Oscars, am I right?
Yeah. We live in a society. Thank you for
We
having me, by
live
the
in a
way.
Yeah, of course. Stay tuned for the next time where we'll do an apocalypse breakdown of after Joker wins. Um and it will just be talking about how we'll have a gun to our head as we just talk about how Joker is the best film in the last 50 years. So, yep, that's the podcast.
If the Joker wins, there's gonna be one mouse with the nozzle around his neck, contemplating if he should finally do it.
If Joker wins, Disney Plus will just die in flames. No correlation at all. It's just Disney just fucking explodes. Or I guess
It's gonna
implodes.
be
The company implodes. That's the end of the podcast. I can't think of a good outro. I'm fucking lazy and dead inside.